Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Swann. In this video I'm going to talk about more in-depth var, let and const, reserve keywords, errors, and the mind-blowing encapsulate temporary variables. On the previous video I was talking about when variables get declared, you can use almost anything. Let's see the next example. But before we starting, I just wanted to mention today I'm trying in a different way to executing JavaScript. So you can have different options. The first option, if you click on your browser in Chrome, right click, go to console, clear this up, and you can write .log hello. So you can write JavaScript here in the console, or you can write JavaScript in the same way how we did in the previous video. If you haven't seen the previous video, please go and check it out. Or you can use Node.js, which what I did. I use Nodeman. You just creating like a server rendering. If you haven't done this before, don't worry about it. Just use the other way. I prefer to use this way because the execution is so much quicker than to wait the live server to execute the code and wait for the results. Now, if I do anything here, console.log hello, immediately I've got the results on the bottom, hello. So right here. So you are trying to declare a variable, but during runtime your code throws an error, not letting you assign that variable name. Why is it that? Let me see. So if you do var this equal to 0 and console.log this, and we have a unexpected token this. So variable names have a strict set of rules. You must not pick a variable name that is a keyword, which words already used in the language, or a reserved word which are reserved for a future use, or a literal values such as true or null. If you want to check all the reserved words, check out W3 School's JavaScript reserved words. So if you go to W3 Schools, where it was already open for me before, you can see all the reserved keywords here. So if you're trying to use variables, you cannot use all these words: delete, const. This is the remove reserved words. So finally you can use this again. This is the JavaScript objects, properties, and methods. You should also avoid using the name of JavaScript built-in objects, properties, and methods. So you shouldn't use these ones. Java reserved words, you shouldn't use these ones, and the other reserved words. So you shouldn't use all these words. Otherwise we're getting a syntax error. JavaScript has some other rules around variable naming. They can include numbers, but cannot start with a number. This would confuse them with the number literals. They also cannot contain any spaces. Generally speaking, the names of JavaScript variables are quite flexible. It is recommended you name your variables using the English alphabet, A to Z. Avoid the use of numbers and use CamelCasings for multiple word variables. What is CamelCasing? CamelCasing is where each word is given a capital letter except for the first word. Like example, I'll give you example, word smart dog. So this is a CamelCase variable equal to 0. So we got down there 0. If you're looking for CamelCasing brands in the real world, you can think about iPhone or eBay. It is very important to note that JavaScript variable names are case sensitive. So basically, if I say the smart dog equal to 1, this is a different variable than this one because it's case sensitive. So we got two different results. We got 0 and 1. Let me comment this out. Let's see the next example. I'm creating a variable a equal to 3, which is global scoped. This is attached to the global scope. And I'm creating a function sum. And inside in the function sum, I'm creating another variable equal to 4. and I wanted to console.log this a. But nothing happened because we haven't invoked yet. Now, if I wanted to console.log right now a, we get number 3 because we console.logging the global scope variable a, and we don't have any access for the function scope. Now, what's happening with this a? If I invoke this sum, then we got logged number 4. Why is it that? Function sum declared its own a variable inside in its own scope, and so modified the variable belonging to sum, not the global one. Now we declared a new variable which is belong to the function scope, and we got 3 4 printed out first 3. This is printed out first. Then we invoke the function. Then we got printed out this variable. But what happened if I take this off? Now if I take this off, this a has access to this variable. So basically what happening is we console.logging that one. But if I do this, console.log a, after the evoke, we get number 4. If I create again a var, we get number 3. So if we're declaring inside in the function, as in their own scope for with the function, if we are not declaring and we're just deleting what we did before, then we reassigning the number a variable. So how is it works? Each function is given a scope so that it can manage its own variable without overriding its own variables into the global scope. Variables inside of a function scope cannot be used outside of the function or in other functions. This is very useful because it avoids conflicting variable names. Function scope variables also have an important use. They only live as long as the function runs, meaning they are cleaned from memory as soon as the function is finished. Let's comment this out. The basic principle of a scoping is similar to a tree. It begins with the root scope, and with each new function, a new function scope branch is created. Functions inside the functions are branches of a branches. So let me show you this in the code. Let's create a function x. And in the function x, I wanted to create a variable a equal to 1. What am I doing here? Console.log. I wanted to do a template literal here. And the log coming from the function x, and you can use the $a. Now here, if I wanted to evoke x, we will get this log coming from the function x. What about if I make one deeper? Function y and var b equal to 2. And here console.log the log coming from the function y, and I do this b. Okay, and I have to invoke this here. Why I can invoke this here? Because the function is get hoisted to the top, so I can invoke it right now. Okay, let's do a space, it's much better. Now what happened is, if we're going up in the tree, first we're logging y, then we're logging x. Okay, let's do a deeper one, and I wanted to put that here from function z. Let's do a and logging out b, a and b. And to do that, I need to invoke this here, and now we have access for them. It is important to note that the scope has an upwards chain. So the inside one, the nested function, can access to the outer variables, the outer scopes. But if I wanted to console log here, console log, let's try into console log B. Yes, B is not defined because B right here is not defined yet. Only is defined is in this scope, the Y, the function Y, and wasn't declared yet, wasn't invoked yet. A variable is undefined if it's got declared but not get assigned to a value. How you can test this? Let's create a var A and var B equal to 5. Now if this is a conditional statement, if A triple equal to undefined, then console.log is variable A is, then variable A is undefined, else variable A is defined. So what do we get here? Variable A is undefined. So here we're trying to check if it's variable A is undefined or not. So variable undefined if it's declared but not assigned to a value. So let's talk about let. Let is block scoped. Block scope variables offer the same semantics as function scope variables. They are locked to a block. They cannot be accessed outside of a block, and they are removed from memory as soon as the block finish executing. Let's assign a variable with the let statement. Let A equal to 1. So here variable A has been declared and assigned to 1. Let's create a block. Let B equal to 2. Console.log B. Yes, we got 2 because this block is always got true. If I do an if statement, if A equal to 1, then, which is true, let A equal to 3. Console.log A. We got 3. The variable A has been redeclared in the block scope. So this 2 variable is 2 different one. This one is equal to 1 and that one is equal to 3. So this is why we got 3. What about if I try to console.log B? Yes, B is not defined. We will have a reference error because we don't have access in the block scope. What about if I wanted to console.log A? We have 1. Why is it 1? Because we have access to this variable and we have attached that. Let's see the next example. 4, let I equal to 0 and I smaller than 4 plus I. We got access to the, so here we have access to the variable I, which is outside of the block. So this is the block here, this curly braces, and is outside in the block, and we still have access, and the loop logging us 0, 1, 2, 3. If I wanted to access in console.log I outside, then I am having I is not defined, so it's an error. Now, let variables have another trick. When used in an if statement or a for or while loop, the let variable is bound to the attached block, even if it's not inside the block itself. So this variable I is get bounded to the block. We cannot access from outside, but we can have access from inside. Comment this out. The next example, var A equal to 1 and B equal to 2. And let's open a block. Let price equal to A and A equal to B, B equal to the price. If I wanted to console.log A and B, Yes. So basically what happened is so originally a has a value of 1, but when we console.log in here, we replaced it. So we just switched them up. So here is it. So a equal to b, so a equal to 2, and b equal to the price. But what is the price? Let price equal to a. So first, the price take the value of 1, then give it to the b. And we got reassigned. Basically, this block scope is reassigned the value. But if I'm typing type of price, then we got undefined. So we have access for the AB, but we don't have access for the price. It's undefined. So when we console.log type of price, we got undefined because we don't have access anymore for this. But did the job, so switch it for us. But if we wanted to access from them, we have access for this too, but we haven't got access from outside of the block scope for the price. The let variable only exists for the life of the block scope. This is the encapsulate temporary variables. Let assign const variables. The var and let statements certainly have their uses, but both are vulnerable to being unexpectedly overridden in the life of the running code. Luckily, the const statement provides you with a way of declaring a variable that is immutable. It will always be assigned to its initial value and cannot be changed, cannot be mutated. It is a constant. But like I mentioned on my previous video, constants only works with primitive values. Objects can be updated. So in the following, var a equal to 1, let b equal to 2, and const c equal to 3. A equal to 4, b equal to 4, c equal to 4. And yes, assigning constant variables, c value doesn't change. Console.log a b c. If I take this out, then we have 4 4 3. When JavaScript say the const keyword followed by a constant name, what is assigned to your values, then set those values to the constants as read only. When JavaScript say the const keyword followed by a constant name, what is assigned to your values, so then set those values to the constants as read only, which is immutable. Then it follows the same semantics as let. It is important to note constants must always have a values assigned to them when it's got declared, otherwise it's give you a syntax error. So if I take this off, const c, then I have a missing initializer in the const declaration. I've got a syntax error. Some browsers set permanently to undefined. If you have any question, please leave a comment down below. And thank you and see you at the next video. Bye.